Hello everyone, this is Diane. Thank you for joining me today. Today's project is going to be to finish this little, well, not so little, journal. It has about 30 pages, I think, maybe a little bit more. But it's going to be wire bound. So I have done maybe one or two videos so far on this journal, but I'm hoping today to finish it. And then tomorrow will be a flip through and it will be listed in my shop. So all I need to do is make a pocket for the back and add some bells or something to these fabric tabs and then bind it. So let's just get to it. I have some pieces ready to make a pocket. This is a cut off piece of scrapbook paper, and I rounded the top corners and inked around it. So that will be there. I left this space open so that I can put the binding holes there. It wouldn't matter if you punched the hole, if you made the pocket the full length and then the holes would be in the pocket. That would be fine. I've done that before. I think before I do this, I'm going to just run my bone folder over where I just stitched the cover to kind of press where it pokes the cardboard up. The needle goes through and pokes it up. It just looks a little bit neater to press that down. Okay, now I want to use this little piece of German scrap that Karina sent me. This journal is made with pieces that were sent from Sweden by Karina. Not all of it was sent from Sweden, but a lot of it. Like on this back cover, the only thing is that piece. But there are book pages and other kinds of embellishments that came from Sweden. Fabrics. This is pretty bright. I know because there's bright green here, that's why I chose this. But I am going to just rub some vintage photo over it to make it so it's not quite so bright. And then he can go there. And I may add some other embellishments. I have this one last piece of this trim. This did not come from Sweden. It came from Carolyn. I think she's in South Carolina, but I thought it was perfect for these journals with the Swedish touches. So maybe I'll add that there. And I have some Swedish postage stamps. That's cute. That's not a postage stamp. I think it's a gift package seal, but I don't like it there. How about this one? He's holding a Christmas tree. There are trees here, and this is a father and son bringing home a Christmas tree and some greenery for decorating their home. I would like to thank you all for your kind comments about the big domestic art style Christmas journal that I just put in my shop yesterday, and it sold quickly, so thank you for that too. I'm never sure about them because I love them, but I just don't know how they're going to go over because they're big and kind of messy, I think, and I don't know. I want to say they don't look as thoughtful, and they are pretty casual, but I do put a lot of thought into them. But anyway, I'm just always grateful that you guys like them, and I don't know why I worry about it because they get good comments every time. I don't make them. I haven't made one in a long time. So I was very pleased with the way you guys responded. And I do appreciate your comments. So the day that I want to list this would be Friday. And I will be taking my dad. Want that down a little lower. To his appointment to get his iron transfusion. It's going to be a long appointment. So, what I will say when I do the flip through, and I'll tell you right now too, is I will list the journal when I get home from that appointment. So there won't be a specified time. But it will be late afternoon or evening. Normally I try to list things at 6 p.m. if I schedule them. Sometimes I just pop them in there and see what happens. But if I schedule them, it's usually 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I should be home by then, but I don't want to just assume that I will be. So it might be around that time. So that's a nice little pocket. Oh, I didn't make a tag or anything to go in there. I've done some work on here that you didn't see. I made some tags, big tags, fabric pockets. I could use this for the tag in there because I don't think I put one in. Did I? Did I put one of them in there? Because I cut around it and glued it to something, so maybe I did. Let's take a quick peek. You get a quick peek at what is in this journal now. Yep, there it is. That's right. Okay. Well, I will definitely find something to put in that pocket. But for now, I wanted to put some bells or something on here, but I think I'll do that after I bind it. So let's do the binding. Now I've done binding, bind it all binding on videos quite a few times, but everybody, there are always people that enjoy seeing it. They haven't seen it before, or it's a refresher for them. So we're going to do it. First thing I have to do is measure the height of the journal cover. And it is 10.5 inches. That's good because it works better if it's increments of 1/2 inch. So 10.5 inches. Now this is my little book that came with my Bind It All. Where is it? I don't know where the cover is, but anyway, it's the little book that came with my Bind It All that I've had for I've had it for over 10 years. Okay, so this is the page that says for 10.5 inch covers, punch 19 holes, and then it tells you get 6 holes whenever you punch. So you have to keep moving the cover to get 19 holes. So it tells you punch the first set of 6, and then there's a slot on the edge. This is not an instructional video on the Bind It All, but I'll just explain briefly. There's a little peg right here, and you put that peg through the 5th hole, and then you punch some more, and then you move it down and put the peg through the 11th hole, and then you need one more, so you put it through the 12th hole. So that's what I'm going to do. So I take the cover and put it with the bottom edge up against this piece down here. Move it to the cover position. Put that in there. And this is a real heavy piece of chipboard, but it's not as thick as most book boards that I use. So this is easy. I was going to say this is a cinch, but no, this is the Zutter Bind It All. I do have a cinch, which does the same thing, but I'm more used to this. So I'm going to use this today. I want to make sure I'm not holding it wrong. It has to be completely level, or the holes will be slanted. So there's the 5th hole right there. If I moved it to the 6th hole, then there would be a space and then another 6 holes. So you put it in the 5th, and then this is where the space would be, and then you get 6 more holes. So this is 5. I'm going to move it to the 11th. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now I'm just going to move it up 1 notch to the number 12, because that's what the instructions say. And there are my holes. Now I'm going to do the back cover. So this is how it would go together. So in order for it to match up, I want to make sure I put it in with the bottom edge down here like I did the front cover. Because if I flipped it around and did it that way, the holes might not line up. So we're just going to do the same thing. You can't see what I'm doing because this blocks it, but I'm just pulling that handle down. There's an opening here. After I punch the cover holes, I always empty out the little pieces that got punched out before I move on to the pages. Sorry for the rattling. Okay. Now, obviously, you're going to have the same number of holes for the pages. So, you just move this thing to a different position so that the page isn't flush with the bottom. There'd be a little bit of space. And I usually take about 5 pages at a time, and I remove whatever pieces I have in there before I punch, because I have neglected to do that before, and it's bad news. This goes in next, but I'm not going to punch that right now because it's a different size. This one is a little smaller, but I'm going to try to hold it in the right place. So did I say I gather 5 pages? That's what I'm doing. 5 pages. Again, you have to be careful that you're not tipping the pages. If you have something that's a smaller size in there, that could slip into a different position and you wouldn't even know it. Like, for example, that. It just moved down to the edge. And these are small too, so I should not have done that. So I just try to remember where the smaller pieces fit in. And this thing was after this page. So for the smaller things, there's a line here, and I just make sure the edge of my piece is within that line, and like right at that line, and punch. And I keep punching until I have all the spaces filled in. And like I have to have a hole here or it'll just, the wire will be in the way. The paper will be in the way of the wire. So it's going to be a partial hole. And I think there's probably a different way to do that, but I don't know. This is how I do it. So it's just a partial hole, but the wire can go through it now. All right, now these pieces, what I will do here is add a strip of something and repunch the hole. And it will be just like I wanted it to be that way, hopefully. I still make mistakes. Even while I'm telling you how to avoid those mistakes, I make those mistakes. Now, I don't really know where this was because it's shorter page, so I'm going to line those two holes up with those holes. And I'm going to put this in with this page lined up and then pull it out. So this should be in the right position, as long as I don't tip it. That's better. And now I will do these two, because I would say I'll fix them later, but I want to bind it, get it all bound on this video. I'm taking my sweatshirt off. It's cool in the morning, but it's warming up now. For this, I'll just cover the whole thing, and then I won't have to worry about lining it up. It'll have all new holes, and you'll be able to see the holes on the back, the wrong holes. So this is taking a little bit of time. Somebody's mowing. Didn't I say, this is late October, and didn't I say that every time I do a video somebody has to mow with a noisy riding mower? Got some candy canes, they're fun. Is that wide enough? Yes, it is. rest of the binding process shouldn't take long as I don't make any more mistakes. Now I can bind them together. I think I'll let the glue dry a little bit though. Getting 5 more pages, and these are all big ones. I'll set these aside to punch when I'm done with these. And now I just put this right in the middle. And these go here. And now I will punch these. Okay, moving on. I've got another pair of the small pages. Another mistake that I have made more than once is getting my pages turned around and I end up punching that side. So there are lots of mistakes you can make doing this, but once you get used to it, it's really not bad. It's rather fun. I have 5 pages here that don't have any small pieces in between. There's a little card again. There's a larger card, but it is still smaller than a page. One, 2, 3, 4. Got a bunch of ones here. 5. Some of those small pieces go in between these, but I'll get all of these done at once. These are the last of the big pages, the full-size pages. Now, this one goes here, and then I have a small one. Then this one, and then another slightly smaller one. This one, and that one, and an envelope. And the last piece to punch. Empty my binder. Now I'm going to need this again. Put this cap on. Now I need to have my wire, and I have 1-inch O wires. I have them in black, silver, and white. I looked on Amazon. I was able to buy these. I purchased them twice. First I just got black and white, and they were like a batch of 50 or something like that. 50 or 25, I don't remember. And then when I was running out of them, I ordered more, and I got silver. And I still have them. So I've had them for years, but now you can't get them in a big batch like that. Not that I found, and it's hard to get 1-inch ones. But I did find some, like you can get 6 of them in a batch, maybe a dozen, I don't know. But you can either, I know I have 19 holes, so I can count these loops right here till I get to 19, or I can just kind of slip them in and see that's how many I need. So I need to cut this much off. So just take my wire cutter and cut the big loop. I was counting the little loops because that's easier for me, and then I cut right here at the big loop. And you could save that for a small project, but I'm not going to. This is what came with my Zutter. This beautiful little pink, delicate, feminine wire cutter, but it doesn't work very well. My husband gave me one of his way back when. And the Zutter also comes with these little gauges. So where you have this part of the piece depends on the size of your O wires, and mine are 1s. So this is a 1-inch gauge, and there's also a marking here, so I could just move this until it's at the line, but I think this is easier. You put this in, and that's a tight fit because I just moved my piece. I almost always do 1 inch. I do have some smaller. So I have to open it up a little bit till that fits down in there, and it comes out, but it's still a snug fit. And that means it will pinch your wires closed just as they need to be done. So here's how we put it together. Here's how the book goes. The front cover, the back cover, all the pages in the order that I want them. But if I did it this way, then, well, I have a book here. I didn't make this one. I got this in a swap years ago. This part here, where you could call it the seam, that would be on the outside of the journal if I did it like this. So to keep the seam on the inside, the back inside, you take the cover and flip it around so that the outer pieces, this is what faces the outside of the world when the book is closed, they are facing each other. And then you take your wires, starting with your back cover, and just put the smaller loops into the holes. And then the front cover, and then just put your pages on. So this gives you the opportunity to put your smaller pieces up or down wherever you want them. I'll put this one pretty much in the center. And if your holes are lined up, I mean, they should all be lined up, but my bigger pieces all together. I don't have little pieces in between these, so I can just slip them on together. Goes a lot faster than you think. Now I have these two cards, and I want one near the top and one near the bottom. And I still have to cover up that address. So some of the, well, all of the book pages came from Sweden, and wrapping paper came from Sweden. This tree ornament did not, but I thought it was perfect. That also came from Carolyn in South Carolina. This botanical page came from Sweden, and these computer pages, and the first cover envelopes. And these pages are just digitals that I purchased. The cards came from Sweden. And that's it. Now I have to close that up. And this part is where I used to get really, really nervous, because so many times I had to scratch it, you know, like throw the wire away and get another wire, because it would mash them too much or not enough or whatever. So I have a much better percentage rate of getting them right almost all the time. Once in a while, something is a little bit too squished. It's not rounded enough. So what I do is you take this part, the smaller part, this is the bigger loop, more squared off loop, and this is the small loop, and you put the small loop toward the back. I'm standing up so I have better perspective and leverage, and I have 5 loops within this part that's going to move. Can you see that? I said this wasn't going to be an instructional thing, but I guess it is. So I could put 6 in there. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I would have 1 left over. So you can't do that. You should have at least 3 loops in there. And you don't want to have it so that half of this is being pressed and the other half isn't. So you have to make sure if it's outside of it, all of it is outside. Does that make sense? There's a little bit of a an indent right there. So you try to press that part down, not too hard, but just kind of press your pages, your book part down into that, so that they're centered. That's what I'm trying to say. Make sure they're centered as much as you can. You can't completely. Now I'll stop talking, and I will just press down firmly, and it's closed. And that looks pretty good. I think I'll just keep putting 5 in there. That way I'll end up with 3. I'll do 4 and then 4. That looks nice. The real test is when you close it. So because of that seam, I can't just close the back. It's prevented. So I have to flip everything over this way. And that looks pretty good. Alright, so that part's done. The binding is done. It took longer than I wanted it to because I was talking too much. So what I will do next, and I'll just keep going. The camera might shut off. I don't know. It hasn't been shutting off when I go over my 45 minutes. Looking for some colored bulb pins that will be good for Christmas. I see pink and orange and purple. I guess I don't have any red and green left. So I'll just do metallic ones. I'll do multicolor metallic ones. And I have these little bell. Oh, there's a green bell. I want to use that. I have this little plastic piece I could use and a snowflake. I don't think I want to. Maybe. I'd have to put jump pins on those, though. Jump rings, I mean. Oh, and these little... Oh, that's an earring. I think I'll save that for the fabric book. Have real vintage jingle bells. The green one is a real vintage one. Put a little silver one and a medium gold one. I might have to put jump rings on all of them actually. So maybe I'll just do one. And you'll know what I'm going to do with the rest of them. Just got a jump ring. If you've never done this before, you need flat pliers. They're flat in there. Find the seam on the jump ring. Put the pliers one on each side of that seam, and then don't pull it open like that. You kind of twist it just enough that you'll be able to thread it through the piece like this. And then twist it back. If you pull it open, you're never going to get it closed again properly. And you don't want to have a gap. Something like this is kind of thick, so that should stay on really well, but if you put something thinner, like a little thinner ring, it might slip out through any opening that's in the jump ring. So then I'm just putting a bulb pin on it, and I will fasten it right here. I think that would be a good place for it. And I have found that the bulb pin likes to turn around so that the bulb part is at the top. So I just go ahead and do it now. And I put the charm at the bottom of the bulb pin. So it looks like that. This is where the bulb pin opens. So there's that. Let's do a jingle bell. Now this is pretty low to the bottom of the book, so I want to do something small. Thought I had little bells. I have these little bells that aren't colored, or I'll just put one of those down there. I was thinking I had little bells like this, but they're all on one earring. So I'll just hang this off the bottom of this, and it won't hang off beyond the bottom of the book. Yeah, that's good. I didn't draw blood, so I'm okay. I don't want to get blood on the book. I poked myself with that pin. Okay, so we've got that tab and this tab, and the next one is this. So I'll put the green jingle bell on this one. I didn't put a jump pin on that little bell, but I think it's okay. Jump ring, not jump pin. Why am I calling them jump pins? I'm holding it close to my eyes. Okay, there's that one. The next one is this. I think I'll put the snowflake up there. I can get a jump ring out of my little dish. Whoops. I get so clumsy trying to do stuff with the jewelry tools. That's why I don't like doing the beads. I just can't seem to twist that back together. I think I pulled it apart too far. So, we're going to do that again. I think I pulled it a little bit while I was twisting. This one has a gap already, so I'm going to have to close that gap. I am not doing well with these. I'm hold it up here where I can see it again. Okay, that is closed. And I'll put the big gold bell down here. Jump rings are pretty inexpensive, and you can buy them at any craft store that sells beading supplies, and even Walmart. And then we'll put all of the stuff back in the pockets. Okay, that's done. Alrighty, now I took things out of the pocket. This is the last thing I took out, so I'm going to flip through the book backwards. I don't think I ended up with any of these guys in there, so I'm going to try to get a pair of them in there that say, I think I just wanted to clip it to a page, because that says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We have to start at the front because I can't flip that way. So I'll just flip them over backwards. I do have to add cords to the other tags. I think that's the only one I did. And I will talk about the things that are in this book when we do the final flip through. Tomorrow. So yeah, I need to put some cord there. Yeah, Merry Christmas on the front of the page. And just clip that on. I will have a tag or something in the back pocket, and I can put my signature on the back of it. So that's all I have to do is add something to the back pocket and put this fibers or strings in the tags. And that this is our journal. Oh, no, it is not quite done. We have to do one more thing. But where is it? I have a piece of elastic to put around it, and oh, I didn't use any of this. I'm going to find a place to put some of that. I had it right here so I would have it to use. Here it is. And this goes around it. Like so. Alright, so you'll get the full flip through, and I think I will put a jump ring on that little bell at the bottom. It really needs it. But yeah, you'll see it flip through tomorrow, and it will be in my shop sometime tomorrow, late afternoon or early evening, probably by 6 o'clock. And I'll see you then. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.